Hello everyone and welcome. Did you guys know that yesterday was National Pumpkin Day? So what better than to bring you my first pumpkin recipe of the season, which is this delicious pumpkin bread. It's so easy to make. It's so moist. You're gonna love it. I'm obsessed with pumpkin season. It's my favorite time of the year and I love everything pumpkin flavored. So stay tuned for the next 2 weeks because they're gonna be filled with pumpkin recipes. Okay, let's get started with this loaf. We're going to start off in a medium-sized bowl with our flour, and to that we're going to add the rest of our dry ingredients. That's going to be our salt, our baking powder, and our baking soda, some pumpkin pie spice. If you don't have pumpkin pie spice, you can make your own with nutmeg, cloves, ginger, and cinnamon. And then I'm going to add a little bit more cinnamon because cinnamon and pumpkin are just a match made in heaven. And we're going to give this a good whisk until all of our spices are evenly distributed throughout our flour. And then we're going to set this aside and work on our wet ingredients. So in a larger bowl, we're going to start off with our oil, and then to that we're going to add our sugar. If you guys didn't know, sugar is a wet ingredient because it dissolves and it turns into a liquid. So I'm using white sugar and a light brown sugar, but if you don't have any brown sugar, you can use just white sugar and I'm sure it'll turn out delicious as well. When you're measuring out your brown sugar, you want to make sure that you pack it really tight into your measuring cup, and then we're going to use our fingers to just break it up and sprinkle it into our bowl. And then we're going to give this a good stir until all of our sugar is coated in the oil. And this is going to take us about a minute or two. Definitely recommend using a spoon or spatula instead of a whisk, because then it'll get all stuck inside your whisk like mine did, but just tap it out if that happens. Then we're going to add our eggs in. You want to make sure that your eggs are room temperature because that's just going to allow for everything to come together so much easier and seamlessly. And also you don't run the risk of your batter separating because of cold eggs. If you're not too comfortable cracking eggs, you might want to crack them into a smaller bowl one at a time, so you make sure you don't get any eggshells in your batter, or so you don't crack a rotten egg into your mixture. That's never happened to me, which is why I continue to risk it for a biscuit. But yeah, let me just knock on wood before that happens to me one day. I would be totally devastated. Anyway, we're going to whisk this until we have this nice smooth mixture, and then we're going to add our vanilla extract and give that another quick whisk. And our mixture at this point is just silky, smooth, and luscious. It's glossy, looks amazing. And we're gonna add our pumpkin puree now. You wanna make sure that you have bought pure 100% pumpkin. You do not want to buy pumpkin pie filling because that is something totally different. We don't want that. So we're going we're going to whisk in our pumpkin into our wet ingredients, and that's just gonna melt right in. It shouldn't take more than like 30 seconds to whisk it in. It's gonna give us this beautiful orange color, and our wet ingredients are even more silky smooth and glossy than they were before. And now it's time for our dry ingredients to join us. I'm gonna add my dry ingredients in 2 parts. So I'm gonna add the first half. I'm gonna switch over to a spatula, and I'm just going to take my time folding this in. Folding motions is just when you stick your spatula in, flip it, stick it, flip it, stick it, flip it, and rotate your bowl at the same time. I don't know if that explains it, but you can see what I'm doing. And you're gonna want to make sure that you are scraping the sides and the bottom of your bowl as well, because we don't want to leave any of this flour behind. We want it all to be fully incorporated into our mixture. And then we're gonna add the second half, and we're gonna do the same thing, just folding it in, taking our time, doing it right. It's super important to not overmix your batter ever, so you want to make sure you stop, drop, and roll. Just kidding, just stop. As soon as you don't see any more flour bits, as soon as there's no more streaks of flour in your batter, just stop, okay? I know mixing is the funnest part, but just stop. And then you should be left with a delicious, thick, luscious batter. The lumps in the batter are totally normal. I never mind the lumps, but if you do, you can sift your dry ingredients before adding them, and that should take care of the lumps. And I'm sorry, I always forget to tell you guys at the beginning, but you should have preheated your oven at 350 degrees. And now we're gonna grease our loaf pan. It's a 9x5 loaf pan. And I was a lazy girl on this day, so I used this baking spray, which works wonderfully. But you can, of course, grease your loaf pan with butter, and it'll come out just the same. And then I'm going to add all of my batter into my loaf pan. Make sure you get all of it. Don't leave any of this deliciousness behind. This doesn't look very appetizing in this color and this consistency, but it's gonna be delicious. Give it a few taps on your counter to get rid of some of those air bubbles in the batter, and then we're gonna bake this on the center rack in our oven for about 50 to 60 minutes. And you will know when it's done when you poke a toothpick through it and it comes out clean, or when you give it a little tap and it springs back up. And mine took exactly 60 minutes to bake. So that is how you make this delicious pumpkin bread. I hope that you make it at home, and I hope that you love it just as much as I do. If you do make it, please post a picture of it and tag me in it on Instagram so that I can see your recreation of it. That is all that I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, so you don't miss out on any future videos. Don't forget that the next 2 weeks are going to be filled with pumpkin recipes. Also follow me on Instagram for more food content. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what is your favorite pumpkin flavored food, and I will see you next time. And please enjoy the rest of this video, which is just me showing off my pumpkin bread. Look at how delicious and moist and fluffy, and how it just springs back when you squeeze it. It is perfect. I promise you will not regret making it.